Well, hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am super excited about today's video because it is finally the day we get to plant our garden. It is a warm, sunny day outside, so I'm super excited to get outside, bring you guys along with everything that we're doing. I already did a garden prep video, and that kind of goes over everything that we are planting. I list all the varieties of everything in that video, so I will put a card or link that down below for you guys if you want to check that one out. But if you haven't noticed, I'm wearing my overalls. The overalls lived. I sewed up the back where I ripped them and I cut them off into shorts. So we are just going to use them in the garden. If they rip more, I'm just gonna sew them back up and just kind of use them as working clothes because they fit so well and I was just not ready to get rid of them yet. But I'm getting ready to prep the potatoes because that's the first thing we're gonna plant. Quartering all of those, getting some really good eyes to plant. We're hoping that this year we have a better yield than we did last year, but I'm super excited to bring you guys along with everything. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, get some inspiration for your own garden, but let's go ahead and get into planting some things. So I have my 2 bags of potatoes. So we're gonna cut these to get them ready to put into the garden. So this is my bag of yellow Yukon Gold. And this is my bag of the reds, and we get the red Lesotho. But I think I'm gonna cut the yellows first so I can keep them separated, and they're a little bit easier to show you the eyes. So I talked a little bit about this in my garden prep video, but you can get a lot of potato starts out of one potato. So we're just gonna cut all of these little eyes off of here, and we'll make our hills. We'll make a little hole in the top and we'll spread them out evenly. I can't remember how far we spaced them apart last year. Spread them apart evenly, and you just stick this little hunk of potato in the hole, and then your little potato plant will grow from there. Okay, I'm gonna move my camera down here, even though you won't be able to see my face, but I'll bring you a little bit closer. So for this one, you kind of want 1 or 2 eyes for each potato. So I'm gonna cut it right through here. So I have these 2 on this side, and this one looks like it's 2 kind of growing out of 1 on this side. So when you put it into the ground, this side will be facing up and your cut side will be facing down into the dirt. So these 2 are gonna be 2 potato plants. And then we'll do the same thing for the red potatoes, but I'm gonna speed this up while I'm cutting all these, and I'll come back when I'm doing the red ones. So now I'm gonna start cutting up the reds, and they look a little bit different. The eyes are like a little bit hairier, but I'm gonna do the same thing with these. Cut them off to where there's 1 or 2 eyes on each little piece. Cut them up the same way as we did the yellows, and then we'll go out and start planting them. So slight outfit change. I just put a bathing suit top underneath my overalls, but James just went down for a nap, so I'm gonna grab the baby monitor. Kyle's already out there starting to get the hills built up, but I just put on some sunscreen so I don't get burnt. Kyle got super sunburnt last year and got sun poisoning after we were planting our garden, so we're trying to avoid that for the both of us this year. But I'm gonna head out there and help him because this is James' last nap of the day, and it usually doesn't last very long, so we're gonna try to get as much done in this amount of time as we can. So this is what we're working with. Kyle's already started on 1 hill, and this will be a second one, and I think we're doing a third this year, aren't we? You don't know yet? Okay, so we're planning on 2, maybe 3, but this is what we're working with. So I'm gonna speed it up. A lot of this is gonna be time lapse, but I'm just gonna try to walk you through as much as I can. So these are our rows, nice and straight. Kyle does a really good job. I've not done much. I've weeded the edge of the garden so far. That is all that I've done, but they're looking good. So I think they're gonna be good to plant. So last year, we think we did about a foot apart. So this year we're gonna do like 15 to 18 inches apart. And what Kyle just did was he raked the top off and kind of flattened it a little bit. And this year we're doing it a little bit different. We're gonna place our potatoes on the top, and then Kyle's gonna rake soil over it, because last year when we planted them, we think we put the potatoes too deep. So that is our solution for that this year, so they don't get too much soil on top of them and they have room to come out. So I'm gonna go and place them all down here. I think we're gonna do a row of reds and a row of yellows, but potatoes are pretty simple. Potatoes left over. So we have one row of reds, one row of yellows, and then I think we're gonna do a third row because we have a lot of potatoes left over, and we're just gonna do like a half and half row. For just a second. Kyle's out there getting ready to spread the fertilizer for our corn. And for our corn, we use 12 and then till it in. But we've had so many issues with our tiller. He ran it through a few passes for the potatoes, and now it won't start again. Like the whole like pole cable, super loose. Like we've had so many issues with it. So I think we're just gonna go out and like hand till it. We have a little hand tiller and rake it in as good as we can. So hopefully that will work. But Kyle was not under the impression that I wanted to plant the whole garden today. But I'd rather just knock it all out and get it all done. So I don't think he's too happy about that, but we'll see how far we get. If we don't get everything done today, it's not a big deal, but we will see how the rest of today goes. So this planting video might be in a few parts. So we just came out here and hand tilled all of this and then raked it to make it smooth. But we're gonna take a break really quick. I'm gonna go in and make dinner. James is getting ready to wake up from his last little nap. So either after we eat dinner, maybe after James goes to bed, we're gonna come back out, measure for the rows, and plant all the seeds that are gonna go out here, like the corn and the cucumbers and the onions. I think I'm gonna put the sugar snap peas out here, but we did find the lumber, like got it priced out and stuff for our raised bed, so we're gonna do that hopefully sometime this week. If we get that stuff in a little bit later, it's not a big deal because my stuff in the window is not quite ready yet, but that is kind of the plan for the rest of this evening. So hopefully we can get everything in and planted today. Doesn't she look so pretty out there? So garden vlog will continue tomorrow. Kyle and I are both just kind of pooped, and we're gonna wait until tomorrow and measure out all the rows for the corn, get that planted, probably plant the cucumbers and the onions, get everything done in the garden, and then everything else that we have will go in the raised bed. But it just feels so good to at least have a little bit of that planted, at least the potatoes, but we're making progress. So day 2 of planting. James is awake and with us today for this one, but we're gonna set him out in the shade. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to talk while I'm outside because next door they're putting up a fence and they have all of their equipment going, like their post hole diggers and stuff like that. So I will try to talk as much as I can through planting today. We're gonna do corn and our cucumbers, maybe green beans, try to get everything else out there. So yeah, it might just be a lot of B-roll and a lot of us filming things if it's really loud, but I'll try my best. And oops, but I will try my best to show you guys as much as I can. I'm going out in a little swimsuit top today to try to get a little bit of sun because we go to Myrtle Beach in a few weeks and I'm trying to not get super burnt out there, but let's hope today goes well and we can get everything else that's going in the garden into the garden today. So whenever you get your corn seeds, at least ours do, they're coated in this like red, I don't know if it's a fertilizer, preservative, but we get the Serendipity Triple Sweet. I know I've said that before. Kyle is just marking the rows and making little finger holes for us to be able to put the seeds in. And then I'm gonna go follow through behind him, put the seeds in there, and then we'll cover them up with some dirt. And then once we finish planting everything, we'll just give our garden a really good water with the sprinkler.
We got time on our side, we're in a state of hope. I need you on my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way. We got everything here, at least to stay alive. And the time that we share makes it all worthwhile.
So you can't really see, but corn is done. So there's a row here, 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 and here. So we did 3 last year and we're doing 5 this year. Our garden looks so dry right now, but hopefully it'll look a little bit better after we give it a good water once we're done planting it. So I had to come in because I needed to research my green beans because Kyle and I have never planted them before, so we don't know how far apart they need to be planted. We don't know like how big they get, so that will determine if I can plant 1 or 2 rows of them. If I can only plant 1 and I only have the room for 1, I'll probably split it half and half with one type of bean and the next type of bean, but we planted double the corn that we did last year. We did 3 rows last year, we did 5 rows this year. We were gonna do 6, but I wanted to leave room for my green beans and the cucumbers and everything on that end and not make it too crowded. So I'm gonna do a little research on those and then I'll report back with what I find out. But Kyle's getting ready to go golf with his friend, so I'm gonna plant the rest of this side of the garden by myself. Hopefully it'll go good, but that is a plan for this evening. And the nice thing, Kyle's cousin that lives right next door, so she took Jamie for a little bit to watch him while we finish this up, but he's getting ready for a nap here in probably 10-15 minutes. So I'll probably run over, grab him, and then come back and try to finish everything. So I've decided I'm just gonna do a half and half row. I'm gonna do half of the Kentucky Wonder, half of the Tinderette, and leave it at that because Kyle thinks if I plant 2 rows, it's gonna be way too many green beans, way more than we can eat. So since it's our first year planting them, we'll just do 1 row, see how they do. If we wanna do more next year, we can, but I'm hoping to get those done and the cucumbers done at least. I'm doing 2 different types of cucumbers and then I'm debating if I'm gonna do sugar snap peas in the garden or if I'm gonna do them in the raised bed. I guess I could do both and just plant them out in the garden for now and then see how they do, but I'm just kind of winging it for this other half of the garden. We have a set place for the potatoes and a set place for the corn, but everything else is just kind of wherever it goes, it's gonna go. Definitely the onions are gonna go in the back of the garden and I wanna try to fit a zucchini plant in there. If I'm gonna be able to, I don't know, but that is my plan right now. Sweet Success cucumbers, and then this is the cucumbers that Kyle's grandma gave me. They're supposed to be Burpless cucumbers, which are longer, but she said when she grew them last year, they were pickle-sized cucumbers, so I'm probably gonna do half of the cattle panel behind me in the pickle cucumbers and the Sweet Success and see how that goes. And I think I'm just gonna plant maybe 1 or 2 plants of the sugar snap peas on the end to see how they do out here. If not, I'm just gonna put them in the raised bed and put a little trellis in there. And I have quite a bit of room between my green beans and the cucumbers, so I think I'm gonna try to fit 1 zucchini plant kind of in the back. So this is my little onion corner. I think I'm gonna do 2 little rows of onions right here. In reference, the cattle panel with the cucumbers and the sugar snap peas is right there. So we are gonna plant them right here. This is where they were last year and they did really well. So that is where they're going to stay. But everything else is planted, but you can't really see it right now. I'm gonna do a row of yellow since that's what I use the most of, and then the second row I'm gonna do half and half of white and red, just so I have a little bit of a variety. So it is a few days later after we planted the garden, and I just want to give you guys a little update. You couldn't really see anything when we planted it before because it was really dry. You still really can't see anything because nothing's come up yet, but we have had a few good rains. So it looks a little bit better, but we did find something out about our potatoes. We planted them way too far apart. We planted them 18 inches apart, and they really only need to be like 8 to 12 at the most. So we're gonna go back through and put another little potato start in the middle of all the ones that we've already done. And I found out that my green beans weren't the best ones. They're really good to like stir fry and freeze, but not really to can. But those are already in there. I'm sure we'll find some uses for them, but I'm hoping everything comes up. Our cucumbers will probably be the first thing to come up. Potatoes take a while. Corn's pretty quick too, so we'll just have to see. I'll do some updates for you guys as we go along, probably just in my future like vlogs, future videos, just updating you here and there on how everything is doing. We still have to get our raised bed, which if we get that in a little bit late, not a big deal. We can just harvest that stuff a little bit later, but that's where my peppers and my carrots and a few other things are gonna go, my leeks. So none of that's planted yet, but they're not quite ready to go in the window, so it'll all work out. But I'll go out and show you guys what it's looking like. We're gonna put the rest of our potatoes in there, and I think that will finish everything up for our planting video. So yesterday got a little bit busy. Didn't get out and plant the potatoes, so I'm getting ready to go out and dig up the first one just to see where I have a starting point, and then I'm going to go out and put the rest of the potatoes in the spaces in between, and after that we should be done with planting the garden. we finally got all the potatoes in and spaced them out as best that we could. We pretty much used all of our yellow potatoes, which was really nice. I felt really good not having to waste any of those. We did have quite a few of the reds left over, but not as many as we would have if we wouldn't have replanted those extra ones. But I think that is all that I have for our garden planting video. I'm super excited to give you guys updates about how everything is growing, how everything is doing. Really excited about our potatoes in general because last year they didn't do very well. A lot of them didn't come up. So hopefully this year, with a few other things we've tweaked and we've tried, that those will do a little bit better. We planted a lot more corn. I'm hoping that my green beans do well. First year growing those, but I think we're gonna do our raised bed sometime this week. So that will be another video. You guys will see the rest of what I'm planting will pretty much go in there. It's my peppers, my jalapenos, and my bell peppers, my leeks, carrots, and then I think I'm gonna plant a few like sugar snap pea plants in there. If we don't get a raised bed, if that just doesn't work out, I'll probably plant that stuff in pots just to grow it and not let it go to waste. But I'm really banking on getting our raised bed. We have everything priced out for the lumber and everything. So I'm just excited to share all of this spring and summer gardening stuff with you guys. But I think that is all that I have for today's video. If you want more live updates, follow me on my Instagram. I will leave that link down below. And if this is something that you like to see, gardening content, different things like that, please consider subscribing to my channel. But I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.
We got time on our side. We're in a state of hope.